Universe, and the Marvel event that I'm going to talk about, the story arc that I'm going to talk about today, is an event that doesn't focus on the traditional Marvel heroes like the Avengers, the X-Men, and Spider-Man and all that. We're talking about a cosmic event that was in 2006, titled Annihilation. Yes, yes indeed, Annihilation. The main story was written by Keith Griffin. Side stories were written by David Abingdon and Andy Landing. A lot of people like that. This story focused more on the cosmic heroes. I'm talking the cosmic entities, the heroes, the you know, you name it. I'm talking about Silver Surfer. I'm talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy, Drax the Destroyer. I said Silver Surfer, Silver Surfer, Galactus, all his heralds, Super Skrull, Nova, Quasar, Moondragon, you name it. Just a lot of, and maybe you have to be a little bit knowledgeable about a lot of the characters, but a lot of them, but it was just a good story, and I'm gonna kind of give you like a little bit of a summarization of it to give it up basically. Now, the main story, the main villain in this story arc was Annihilus. Yes, the insect creature from the negative zone that you mostly see, and he's more affiliated with the Fantastic Four. But yeah, he causes his annihilation wave spreads across the entire galaxy, and it starts wiping out many sentient beings in the universe, in the Marvel universe, in the Marvel Cosmic Universe, as well as, causing certain individuals, for example, like Thanos and Galactus, to get involved. The annihilation wave lasted over the effects of the annihilation wave, which is they consider Annihilation Day, lasted about 200 plus days, including the aftermath. So it was like 220 days. They classified it as AD 200, AD 100, such and such. That was really, and it lasted so long. A lot of things, bad things happened in this. Like certain, like former heralds of Galactus were killed because of Annihilus' annihilation wave. For example, one of Galactus's earliest heralds, the Fallen One, was killed. He was captured and killed. Airwalker was killed. A lot of things happened in this story arc. Quasar, Weldon Vaughn, basically, the original Quasar, was killed, and a new Quasar, a new bearer of the quantum bands, were basically given the power of the quantum bands. Not before Annihilus had the powers of it, and he became super strong. He was overly powered. For example, another good example of the mishaps of what the annihilation wave happened. The Nova Corp of Xandar, that's the planet where the Nova Corp resonates on, was wiped out. The entire Nova Corp was killed except for one. We all should know who that was. Richard Rider. He was killed in this story arc. There were just so many deaths and effects of the annihilation wave, Annihilus' annihilation wave, that happened. And Thanos really became. It would seem that he was like an ally to Annihilus, but he had his own agenda, and one of the agendas that he had in this was he captured Moondragon. Moondragon's lover, Filian, and her were brutally attacked by Thanos, and they were nearly killed. Filian was nearly left for dead, but Moondragon came to her aid and pretty much protected her lover, but she was captured by Thanos, and it was a touching scene because this was something because of Moondragon being so rugged and hardcore, very strong female character. She basically told Filian to deliver a message to her father, Drax the Destroyer. Yes, Drax the Destroyer is Moondragon's father. To tell her, some things that she's never told her father up straight. That she loves him. What happened to her was not his fault. Things like that. And to deliver that message to her. Filian did deliver that message to Drax, and Drax went on a rampage to find, his daughter. And he was so full of rage, Nova had to calm him down. Richard Rider, when he got back into the fold, there was a fight between Richard Rider and Drax for a while, and it was a fight of just trying to calm Drax down. And in that process, Drax and Nova formed the united front to hold off the annihilation wave of Annihilus. There were just a lot of things. Moondragon did get away. She did get away. She did get away from Annihilus. She was able to escape. Boy, there were just a lot of things that happened in this story. For example, another example. Like I said, I'm summarizing this, guys. I'm not going, recapping everything. Norrin Radd, the Silver Surfer, returned to being Galactus's herald, so his power was at full strength again. And later on, the herald that was captured and was Galactus's herald before, Stardust, returned and pledged herself to Galactus. No stress, no nothing. And pretty much Galactus had two heralds, Silver Surfer and Stardust. So that was kind of interesting there. But it was interesting to see Norrin Radd, the Silver Surfer, return to the fold of being Galactus's herald and to helping with the annihilation wave. This story arc really showcased, in a sense, of Galactus not being the devourer of worlds, but being kind of the hero of worlds, in a sense you can kind of see, like, was Galactus doing this to protect the galaxy from Annihilus's annihilation wave, or was he doing it to keep himself alive? If Annihilus destroys the galaxy and the worlds, the universe and things like that, there's no worlds to keep. Is going to kill, the Galactus, in a sense like that. So you kind of had to look at it from different sides of it, from the pond. Was he doing it for himself, or was he doing it for the different sentient races of the galaxy? I'm talking about the Shi'ar, the Creed, people like that, the Skrulls that were all over. Even Super Skrull got involved. It really, really was dire need. In a sense, a lot of cosmic heroes that maybe you're not familiar with, but you heard the names, got involved in this. And Annihilus he came off as the overlord of this book, this story arc. This story arc showcased that Annihilus is a bad motherfucker. This guy is no joke. This being, this insect creature, whatever you want to call it, was no joke, and he was going to lay waste on the galaxy. Very much. It was very much a hard time, and it was a miracle that it didn't come to Earth. Maybe because of Nova, pretty much because of Nova. He tried to keep it from Earth to get the other superheroes involved in it, but it did. Some Earthlings did get involved in it, like Drax befriended an Earthling known as a Cammy, and I'm not talking about Cammy from Street Fighter. Uh, but still, she played a major factor in turning the tides of this. On, if I remember, from my memory of it, on the, what was it? The last day, pretty much the last day of fighting of AD Annihilation Day 220, the pretty much we had the, first of all, we had pretty much um, the supreme intellect of the creed was pretty much lobotomized, and pretty much Ronan killed himself because of that. He killed himself. Nova warns Earth about the Annihilation Wave, but is intercepted by the Superhero Registration Act. Has pretty much, he was notified of the Registration Act, and it kind of pretty much fractured the heroes, and he couldn't get any help from them. Moondragon is basically reveals through her, scanning Annihilus, the ultimate weapon to ending all life in the galaxy, as well as the negative zone. And basically him having all powers, like I'm talking about all the cosmic power, you thinking. I'm talking about, like I said, the quantum bands, there's just so many I can't even explain to you guys. But it was until then that's where pretty much Philian became the bearer of the new bearer of the quantum bands, and turned the tides in a fight between all of them, Nova and Annihilus. In a battle, first of all, Annihilus was overpowering Richard full force. It was in a way, being a fan of Nova that I am, it was almost to the point where when I was reading it, I was just like, Richard, stay down, man. Just don't get up. And part of me is saying that, but then the other part of me is, get up, Richard, get up, keep fighting. Remember what you're fighting for. Your dead brethren of the Nova Corp, the galaxy, everything like that. And it wasn't until the bands, Nova was able to turn the tides because of the quantum bands becoming back to finding a new bearer. Nova, Richard Rider, was able, one of my favorite moments in this story, was able to do this to Annihilus. He was able to, because of Annihilus's, armor, he couldn't do what he could. He ripped Annihilus out of it. It was crazy. He ripped Annihilus from the inside out, and that was one of my favorite moments in the story arc, and I loved it. And that's pretty much how Annihilus died. He pretty much was killed like that. But it was really fun. This story arc was really good. I really enjoyed it. I recommend it. I do recommend it. This is a story arc I wish Marvel would adapt to maybe a feature-length animated, but fat chance of that. There were aftermaths about it. Nova getting his own ongoing series again, things like that. The resurrection of the Nova Corp, things like that. It was a lot of fun. Very much a lot of fun, guys. I really enjoyed it. Very much fun indeed. But you guys, tell me what you thought about Annihilation if you read it. And other than that, if you haven't, I recommend it. And if so, this is Mount Vernon Kid saying peace, one love, stay tuned, keep it real. I'll catch you on the flip-flop on the next episode. Y'all take care.